Welcome to this explainer. You know that feeling when you're just staring at your laptop late at night, totally frustrated, and you just want to throw your hands up and say, I just don't get this. Maybe I'm just not cut out for it. We've all been there. You start scrolling social media, and honestly, it makes it feel like the whole game is just completely rigged against you. You see endless posts about impossible housing markets, massive tech layoffs, and these totally unachievable fitness standards. It is exhausting. But today we are going to systematically deconstruct the internet's toxic doomer culture to prove that achieving your biggest goals is not only entirely possible, it's actually highly actionable. We're going to strip away all that noise and look at the quiet, functional reality of getting things done.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for today. First, we'll explore the overarching internet doomer myth. Then, we're going to break down 3 practical case studies. Building apps is easy, getting hired is easy, and getting lean is easy. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with the secret to winning.
Section 1. The Internet Doomer Myth. Unplugging the Pessimism.
So, I want you to ask yourself a question. Based purely on your social media feeds, does it feel like finding a job or achieving success is just this completely broken, impossible endeavor? Like it feels like the whole world is failing, right? Every single time you log on, there's another viral video of someone sending out 1,000 resumes without a single callback, or some long, depressing essay on why no one is hiring anymore. Well, here's the secret. The algorithms actively want you to think the job market is cooked. Negativity drives engagement, and engagement drives ad revenue. So your feed just becomes this dense, inescapable echo chamber of despair that literally paralyzes you before you even try.
But let's actually look at the real data for a second. The U.S. unemployment rate is remarkably low at just 4.2%. This single, grounded statistic completely shatters that pessimistic illusion you see online. Think about that to put it into perspective. Out of every 100 people available to work, almost 96 of them have jobs. The vast, overwhelming majority of people who want a job have one. The economy is humming along, companies are definitely hiring, and people are successfully paying their bills. The reality on the ground is just drastically different than the reality on your timeline.
So why the massive disconnect? Well, you're witnessing what's called the unemployed internet theory. See, internet algorithms are heavily biased toward the 99% of content created by bots, students, and unemployed adults. Think about it. The people who actually have jobs are simply too busy working to post content all day. They aren't filming day-in-the-life vlogs on a random Tuesday at 2 p.m. They're in meetings, they're writing code, they're helping customers. Because the productively employed are largely absent from the whole content creation cycle, your feed gets flooded by the incredibly vocal minority who are struggling. It's an echo chamber, not reality.
Let's move to Section 2. Building apps is easy. Ditch the startup pressure. The internet really wants you to stress over the hard way of doing things, like building the next billion-dollar pre-revenue tech startup that requires a flawless pitch deck, endless funding rounds, and stressful VC meetings. But the actual easy way? Just building an app for fun, like creating a rapid serial visual presentation, or RSVP PDF reader, just to solve your own personal problem. When you build something just to see if you can, it takes all the pressure completely off. You're not worrying about scaling to 1 million users, you're just tinkering. And honestly, tinkering is the absolute best way to learn complex skills. It's how that light bulb moment happens in your brain.
The crucial point here is that you absolutely do not need a massive, expensive engineering team to get started. Any modern app basically just breaks down into 3 remarkably simple steps. First, you have a front-end UI for the buttons and screens. This is just what the user touches. Second, an optional back-end server like Firebase if you need user logins or data storage, which just handles all the complex database architecture for you. And third, simple packaging and publishing through free tools like Vercel to get it live on the web in seconds. It is truly that straightforward. You're essentially just snapping digital Lego pieces together.
And modern tools make this an absolute breeze. Take Kotlin Multiplatform, for example. You write your shared logic and UI code exactly once, and you can smoothly deploy it to run natively everywhere, across iOS, Android, and the web. You don't have to learn 5 different programming languages or hire a specialized iPhone developer and then a separate Android developer just to get your idea off the ground. The barriers to entry have completely collapsed. If you have an idea, the software exists to help you build it efficiently, quietly, and entirely on your own.
Section 3. Getting hired is easy. Outsmarting the bots.
Okay, first we have to address your mindset. Your success largely hinges on avoiding a negative self-fulfilling prophecy. If you genuinely believe the market is cooked, you're going to subconsciously stop trying. You'll skip networking events, send out half-hearted applications, or just stop applying altogether. And that ensures you put in less effort, which practically guarantees your own rejection. You've got to flip this script, make a positive prediction about yourself. Assume that as long as you keep trying, adapting, and learning from every mistake, you will eventually win. Every rejection is just a lesson. Confidence creates competence, and persistent effort statistically guarantees eventual success.
So how do you actually stand out without quitting your day job? Well, you can easily upskill through networking coffee chats on LinkedIn. These are often just quick, casual 15-minute Zoom calls with people who already have your dream job. And hey, people love giving advice. Or if you need hard technical skills, you can use flexible online boot camps like Triple 10, which boasts an incredible 82% job placement rate within 6 months of graduating. You don't need to go back to a 4-year university and take on massive debt. Targeted, efficient upskilling is entirely within your reach, right on your own schedule.
Now, when you actually start applying, stick to these brutally simple application rules. Number 1. Apply fast, ideally within the first 24 hours of a job posting, so you actually beat the crowd before the recruiter gets totally overwhelmed. Number 2, meticulously track every single job in a spreadsheet so you stay organized and can follow up intelligently. And number 3, and this is absolutely crucial, please stick to a boring, basic one-page resume template. Leave the crazy graphic design, headshots, and multicolored fonts at home. Recruiters want to read your experience. They don't want to admire your graphic design skills. Keep it functional.
And speaking of that boring resume, instead of downloading incredibly complicated Web3 AI job hunting tools that you're honestly never going to use, just rely on this highly reliable formula. Format your resume bullets to clearly state what you did, plus how you did it, plus the company benefit, and highlight your accomplishments using concrete numbers, percentages, and dollar signs. For example, increase sales by 15%, generating $50,000 in new revenue by implementing a new CRM system. Boom. This is exactly how you easily bypass those robotic AI screening systems and prove your concrete value to a real human hiring manager.
Section 4, getting lean is easy, outsmarting hunger.
I want you to listen to this powerful quote. The greatest shortcoming of the human race is man's inability to understand the exponential function. Now, this doesn't just apply to math or economics, it perfectly describes weight loss. Diets don't fail in the first week. They fail because people simply don't anticipate the massive exponential increase in hunger after dieting for multiple months. It starts out incredibly easy and you feel great. But then suddenly, weeks later, your body's survival mechanics kick in and you're just dreaming about food all day long. You have to prepare for that exponential biological pushback.
To survive this exponential difficulty, look at this dietary contrast. You must trade highly processed, addicting protein slop, like those fancy, tiny, double chocolate chunk protein bars, for high-volume, unaddicting whole foods like tofu or massive salads. Slop makes you crave more because it's literally engineered in a lab to be hyper-palatable, and it doesn't take up any physical space in your stomach. Whole foods actually fill the physical void on your plate and physically stretch your belly, sending mechanical fullness signals to your brain that processed snacks simply can never trigger.
Furthermore, tracking your food is absolutely mandatory to avoid binging and wiping out a whole week's worth of progress in just one weekend meal. But don't make it unnecessarily hard on yourself. Using a fast, specialized photo tracking app like Cality AI, which is roughly 90% accurate, is far superior to chaotic food scales or terrible ChatGPT hallucinations that end up inventing extra meals you never even ate. You just snap a picture and move on with your day. Lowering the friction of tracking is the only way you're going to stick with it for the months required to see real change. And here is a total game-changing trick to stay full. Eat your water. You can literally trick your empty stomach by eating solid, high-volume foods packed with water, like cantaloupe, strawberries, potatoes, and massively expanded oat soup. Think about it. A glass of water empties from your stomach in 10 minutes, leaving you hungry again. But solid foods made mostly of water will digest slowly, physically taking up space in your digestive tract and keeping you full for hours.
Finally, Section 5, the secret to winning, action over obsession.
This quick summary brings our entire explainer together perfectly. Look at the stark contrast here. Across tech, your career, and your fitness, the internet actively wants you to choose the hard, obsessive, complicated path. It wants you focused on billion-dollar startups, complex AI tools, and expensive protein supplements. But the easy, actual way? It's just building free apps for fun, applying fast with a boring resume, and eating simple, high-volume, water-based foods. The actual secret to success isn't obsession, it's utilizing practical, consistent simplicity. You win by doing the boring basics exceptionally well.
So, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought.
Will you continue to let internet doomerism dictate your potential, or will you start building your own positive self-fulfilling prophecy today? Because true success comes down to a really simple mindset: never stop learning. Think back to when you were a baby learning to walk. You fell down constantly, over and over, but you never sat there and thought, I'm just not capable of this. You got back up. Every mistake, every rejection is just a stepping stone pushing you forward. Learning is never easy at first, but with practice, that light bulb in your brain finally turns on, and it becomes second nature. Will you keep finding complex, pessimistic excuses online, or will you use these brilliantly simple steps to finally take control? The choice is entirely yours. Keep learning, keep trying, and you will eventually win.